California regulators are working to find ways to address expensive utility bills, and it comes as PG&E says it made nearly $2.5 billion in profits just in 2024. Over that same time, California state regulators agreed to 6 rate changes as many in California struggle to pay their energy bills. Today, state lawmakers grilled California energy leaders and regulators about affordability. I want to go ahead and bring in ABC 10's Becca Habegger. She was at a meeting today where legislators demanded answers. Becca, what else did they have to say?
Well, you know, Alex, every year the California Public Utilities Commission gives an annual report to state lawmakers. Now, those are the folks who regulate California's investor-owned utilities, including the largest, PG&E. And during today's report, lawmakers made clear the costs Californians are bearing are unsustainable.
The reality is electricity bills have been skyrocketing.
That's Democratic Senator Josh Becker at a California Senate committee hearing Wednesday, where lawmakers discussed the affordability of energy bills.
Since 2021, electricity bills for all 3 of the state's investor-owned utilities have outpaced the rate of inflation.
Senators grilled the California Public Utilities Commission, CPUC.
I have residents in my district being charged $700 a month plus per month on their utility bills.
Democratic Senator Aisha Wahab is addressing CPUC President Alice Reynolds, who explained why the CPUC granted PG&E 6 rate changes last year, attributing much of that to wildfire costs.
So we're approving work for the utility, the work that the utility is requesting to do. It is paid for by ratepayers.
Okay, but what is PG&E's pay into this, or any of the other companies, when you're saying you're analyzing what they're paying into versus what a ratepayer is? Ratepayers are not a bank. I'm just going to be very clear about that.
I didn't mean to suggest that I thought ratepayers should pay for climate change impacts. What I meant was under the current system they do. But I agree with you. We need to look at how it's impacting ordinary people every day. A third of the customers in the IOU territories are on subsidized rates.
Frustration over high energy costs is felt on both sides of the aisle. We spoke with Republican Senator Suzette Valladares.
California is too expensive to live in, and we have too many families that are struggling, too many families that are leaving our state. It's unacceptable to me that in the state of California, we're pushing forward anything that doesn't make life easier and less expensive for our communities.
PG&E's Executive Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Chief Sustainability Officer Carla Peterman also spoke at this hearing.
We made $2.47 billion in earnings last year. Only $86 million actually went back to investors. The dividend was less than 3.5%. The remainder of that we reinvested back in the business to do work on behalf of customers.
She says PG&E is taking steps to stabilize costs and points out the average residential energy bill is lower now than it was this time last year.
All right, bringing in Becca Habegger now, who has been following this for us. Becca, I do want to talk about solutions. What are some of the things that are being proposed?
Yeah, you know, in a report published last night, the CPUC offered some suggestions. Let's focus on those costs associated with wildfires, for example. They say undergrounding wires in certain locations is the most cost-effective way to prevent equipment from sparking wildfires. And once the wire is underground, that saves money on maintenance, like tree trimming around those wires. However, the CPUC points out undergrounding wires is still very expensive. And as you heard the president say, right now, those are expenses borne by ratepayers. So the CPUC recommends the legislature and PG&E look for other sources of funding. The source of the funding is beyond the CPUC's purview. But I do want to mention that Senator Aisha Wahab, she's proposed a bill, for example, that would cap the amount of rate changes, rate increases PG&E could get from the CPUC to 1 per year.